Okay, so I see we've got a few people joining us. Just going to wait a minute or two. Okay, I think we'll just introduce. So welcome everyone. I know there's going to be a few more people coming in at the moment, but my name is Laura Creevy. This is my colleague Deirdre in the white there, yeah. And this is the Maynooth University Senior Cycle Summer event. So it's an idea of giving students kind of a taste of advice on their CAO journey, a bit about transition to college, just some information to help you along the way. And it's 2 days. It's today 10 to 12 and tomorrow 10 to 12. So we hope that you will join us for them all. And there's a variety of different types of talks that will run over the course of the 2 mornings. So the first thing that we're going to kick off with is Deirdre. My colleague is going to give information about how to research your college options online. So obviously really relevant at the moment. And just to give, I suppose, people a taste of the different things that Maynooth is doing specifically to kind of help aid students doing this. We also have Hira here, who is going to talk to Deirdre about her college experience and researching at the end, but obviously Deirdre will go through that in a few minutes. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Laura. Hi, everyone. My name is Deirdre Chearuil and I work in the admissions office here in Maynooth. So one of the things that we found was that obviously this year everything was kind of made virtual, and there was a lot of there was a different kind of approach into researching your college options. So what we're going to do today is we're going to just go through the kind of different resources that are available to you, and then Hira will join me and we'll chat a bit about how she researched her college options coming to Maynooth. So I'm going to share my screen. Laura, if you wouldn't mind, let me know if you can see it all right. Is that okay?
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Deirdre.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Okay, so firstly, I guess contact details. So my name is Deirdre Chearuil, as I said. Our email address is admissions@mu.ie. That's our phone number there. We also have something really handy, just a little web chat on the website if you do have any questions for us. Our Facebook and Instagram is Maynooth Uni, and our Snap, Twitter and TikTok is Maynooth CAO. So researching your college options online. Sources of information. So I'm just putting this over. So firstly, the most important part is to have your college publications and your websites in line. Your prospectus, your undergraduate handbooks, collect them, have them ready, and just spend a good evening reading through them and kind of get an idea, reading the descriptions, seeing which one suits you best. Then your guidance counsellors and your teachers are obviously your key resources as well. They're the ones who know the courses. They have the direct contact to the university as well. You should always go to them. Then it's very, very, very important to speak to current students, graduates and people doing the job that interests you. It's really, really, really important to get an idea of the kind of the student life and see if it would be for you, if the degree is for you, if the course is for you, if the experience, if the college, if the place. And I'll go through a few different options of how you can actually see that as well online. Then you can go to studentfinance.ie if you're looking for information on grants. If you are a here or a there applicant and you fit the criteria, or if you'd like to find out if you do fit the criteria, you can go on to accesscollege.ie. Then open days and college visits. So hopefully we'll be able to do college visits again in the new year, but again, at the moment, we're going to go through a few different ways of looking at the college from the comfort of your own home and how to make the most out of open days as well and virtual open days. Then qualifax.ie is a national database of all courses. So if you're looking for PLC courses, masters, any kind of the courses you're looking for, like if you came to us in Maynooth and you were interested in another course, another university, we wouldn't have the full information. So if you just kind of put into Qualifax, if you were looking, say, to do just a course that we don't do Maynooth nursing, you could put that into Qualifax. And then careers portal, is kind of a resource. It kind of shows you what type of jobs, and it gives you kind of a more detailed approach in career and a kind of a career perspective following your graduation. And then lastly, and we'll go through this, is Course Finder. And that's just on the Maynooth University website. So we have the Maynooth University website, and then we kind of have a lead off, which is Course Finder. And I'll go through it in a few minutes, but Course Finder really just goes through each module in full description, and you can really delve deep into the course and the area of study that you're interested in. So, I go on to the next. Okay, so when we were chatting about Course Finder there, so this is what Course Finder is. So once you go onto the website, okay, this is, for example, when I looked into the Bachelor of Arts then. So I went onto mu.ie/level 8. So a quick kind of short link just to recognise. And once you go onto mu.ie/level 8, you can go into your area of study of choice, which I clicked into Bachelor of Arts here. Now, the most important part is, do you see where the arrow there is more detail in Course Finder? Once you click onto that, okay, it'll go on to it'll look a little bit different than the web page we're on here, but the detail there, it'll have first year, second year, third year, and you can actually look at the modules that you are going to study. You can see what's compulsory, what's not compulsory, and it'll just go completely in-depth information of what you want to do following your first year study with us in Maynooth. So another kind of resource that's helpful for a student, if you're looking to get on-campus accommodation, the Accommodation Office offer an accommodation tour, and if you just look up Maynooth University Accommodation Tour, that's how you can find it. But I'm just going to stop sharing for a minute in my presentation because I'm going to share the tour itself. So here's the tour. So it's just a web page. Laura, you can see this okay, yeah?
Yeah, I can.
Perfect, thank you. So you can see the different areas and the different kind of places to live on campus here. So lower courtyard, upper courtyard, sorry, we're in upper courtyard, and it brings you right onto the place. You can see, oh, we're up in the sky here now, but you can see reception, residence office, post room, laundry. It just really gives you an in-depth idea of the apartments that you'd be going to. So when you're looking at the different types, so you might get into courtyard apartments, and here you can actually get in, let's say, bedroom. You can actually see what your bedroom is going to look like. Or if we went into river apartments, living area. Cool, that's where you and your future housemates are going to be together. And your bedroom. So it's just a really good resource for you when you're researching your college options online, that you have this accommodation tour on the website. Next one is, okay, so the next one we have is the CAO Hub. So anything like from our previous virtual open days, if you missed them, I know in April it was a very sunny day as well. We have a CAO Hub. So there you can find everything. And when I mean everything, I mean your virtual campus tour, a click link to student ambassadors, which shows you vlogs from student ambassadors, how to get here, campus, accommodation. The accommodation tour is there also, fees and scholarships, and student support. So really the CAO Hub has got everything you need in one kind of place. So that's a quick short link as well, mu.ie/CAO, and you can also register for the open day on that page. Now, next is we're going to just kind of touch on the social medias a little bit. So Instagram, I'm sure everyone has an Instagram account. I find that Instagram is really helpful for students, okay, for students and parents. Our student ambassadors like Kira do takeovers on the stories for prospective students, and they put up question boxes where you can ask any questions, and it just gives you a really informal kind of way to see what the student perspective is like. You can ask them, you know, where are they commuting, where do they come from, what's their favorite module, what would they recommend, their route of study, did they go through a QQI course. So they also do takeovers and open days as well. Now, another thing with Instagram, sometimes student ambassadors do kind of takeovers on campus, and they might show you the campus as well, which is really helpful at the moment considering we're all at home. Another kind of way that I recommend utilizing Instagram is if you put into places, if you put in hashtag Maynooth, you could kind of get an idea, because you'd see posts there, you'd get an idea of landscape, the town itself, everyone who's posting Maynooth, you'll get a kind of a community feed there. And also by putting in the location, Maynooth University, it's a better way to get to know the campus. So we'll be launching our Maynooth CAO account shortly, but for the time being, Maynooth Uni is a place to catch us on Instagram. Then TikTok. So TikTok's kind of exploded in the last year. And we find that TikTok is really helpful for students. So our student ambassadors like here again go over to our TikToks and they do takeovers. And it's really cool because it's only a minute. Now it's increased to 3 minutes, but for a minute, I just explain a different area of topic of conversation. I can see a few of them there. There's a Camogie scholar. There's Gemma, who's in the MU STEM Society. And then Sneha there is chatting about her favourite law module. Natasha's doing the same. Orla, another student ambassador there, is speaking about how she got involved in the Irish Society on campus. So again, student takeovers, there's also campus shots and nice videos from campus there, and you also get an insight into student experience from TikTok. Another way that I'd recommend getting involved is doing again your hashtag Maynooth, Maynooth University, Maynooth College, just because they're kind of the top hashtags for the town itself and to get to know Maynooth. Then if you put in @MaynoothCAO, that's how you'll find us and you can follow us. So I just have 3 examples of TikToks that I'm just going to play. So Laura, maybe I'm just going to double check if you can hear the first one. Is that okay?
Yes, perfect.
Cool. Sorry. So that would be kind of you if you were interested in Irish.
Hi guys,
and
my name is
then
Hira.
I'm just going to show Hira, who'll be with us later on, and she's just going to give us a snippet.
Hi, my name is
Hi guys, my name is Hira Khan, and I'll be talking you through a day in the life of a second year LLB student. I started my day a little bit late today because my morning lecture had been cancelled, but to get myself organised, I had a look at my to-do list and crossed off the things I had already completed. Then, I logged on to Microsoft Teams and attended an evidence lecture. Following this, I tidied up my lecture notes. I like to do this pretty much immediately while the topic is still fresh in my mind. And I also made a start on the reading. I then started getting ready and began compiling research for the Maynooth Flax Society Human Rights Virtual Moot that I'm competing in next weekend. I really like mooting because it's really improved my public speaking skills, which is an important skill for any aspiring solicitor or barrister. I then took a small break to have a look at the Maynooth Flax Society Student Legal Guide, which I co-authored because it had just arrived in the post. It contains legislations most relevant to students. Finally, I finished up my day with an Islamic Society committee meeting.
And then lastly is our student Gavin, and Gavin explains, he's a student from economics and he explains his thesis. Oh, sorry, skipping ahead here.
Hi, my name is Gavin and I'm a final year economics student here at Maynooth. Today I'm going to show you some of the work I did on my thesis topic, the true cost of fast fashion. Fast fashion is a practice used by fashion producers to move the latest trends quickly and cheaply from the catwalk into our stores. This can be very harmful to our environment, as these clothes are often non-recyclable and are treated as disposable by consumers. Did you know that if consumers double their use of clothing, the industry's greenhouse gas emissions would be down by 44%? I looked at the steps our government can take to ensure that we buy less fast fashion and turn to more sustainable and second-hand clothes. We could tax environmentally dirty items of clothes and subsidise greener items of clothing. Studying economics in Maynooth has helped me realise that economics is all around us. I can use the tools I learned in class to help solve some of the world's problems, just like fast fashion.
Yeah, so that's kind of some examples of student takeovers and the kind of snippets that you'll get on TikTok. So then Facebook and Twitter. Facebook is Maynooth Uni, our handle, and Twitter is Maynooth CAO. It's most helpful for parents and guidance counsellors. You can find important upcoming events there. key dates and deadlines which are in here and there, you know, there'll be reminders there, and just general information on the university and to keep in touch, and hashtags to look up there are Maynooth and Maynooth University. So then other kind of things that are useful to follow on your kind of researching journey is departments, societies, and the students' union. So firstly, a lot of departments in Maynooth have their own social media. So I've put 2 handles there, and they're actually Instagram handles for the law department and the economics department. So if you're interested in a particular area of study that you're looking, why not, you know, get involved and get to know your department, get to know the kind of things that they share and that they do, and they kind of show what their students are up to and what they get up to research wise as well. So I know even the Irish department have a Twitter. That's just 2 departments there, though, law and economics on Instagram. Likewise, societies, if there's any societies that you think, oh, do you know what, I'll probably join them when I go to Maynooth, or clubs as well. GA, Maynooth Uni GA, I think is the underscore kind of name for that. Memu Clubs and Socks is to see all the clubs and socks, and that can be a directory for you on Instagram to find the clubs and socks you'd be interested in. Cúlach na Gaeilge as an example, or MU Disney Society. And then lastly, the Students' Union. It's always great to see the kind of student perspective and what they get up to. So you could definitely give them kind of a follow on all the social media platforms before you come to Maynooth to get familiar with the place. Now, finding materials online. So if you look up study Maynooth University prospectus, okay, you'll find our publications are all online, and the ones that are helpful there, well, you can find our transport guide there and the undergraduate handbook. Now, lastly, here on the 3rd kind of picture, I have something helpful, and it's called A Guide for First Year Art Students. Why I have these all together is these are the publications we have during the year, but if you're at home, you can always get them online with PDFs as well. This guide for first year students for MH101 is particularly helpful for anyone who would like to transfer following first year. If you were looking, I've just used law as an example here. If you were looking to study law in first year and you wanted to transfer into a specialised degree like the LLB in second year, this is the handbook that goes through each art subject in detail, and it tells you it gives you your progression options in the second year. For example, there you can see BCL law and accounting. To transfer, you must achieve an average mark of at least 60% in your accounting modules, and there's also 22.5 credits made up of 15 credit accounting subjects and additional 7.5 credits of accounting available in the second semester of first year. So this is really, really helpful if you're looking to transfer into a more specialised degree, because you can have your ducks in a row then before you enter Maynooth University. So then kind of other helpful links, MU Ask a Student. Our students, such as student ambassadors such as Hira, is active on this platform, MU Ask a Student. You can go to mu.ie/ask-a-student, and there it kind of appears like WhatsApp, and you can chat to, you have to give your email address in, but it's kind of like WhatsApp. It's an informal kind of messaging platform to speak to our current students. Then MU Live, this isn't currently running at the moment, but it probably will be next year. If you want to go on to mu.ie/MU Live, and it's more specialised weekly webinars. Well, that's what it was last year. It was more kind of specialized, like product design, media studies. We did gas scholarships, sports scholarships. So it's a more informal way to get to speak to the people you want to speak to and hear from them in a detailed presentation. MU Ask a Student, just as I was speaking about it here. So how to navigate it is, you can see some of our students here is actually there first. I have the first area students. You'd put in where it says levels, undergraduate, area of study. If you want to chat to Hira, you put in law. And then countries is there just for international students. And then there's also blogs there that you might like to have a little read of before you chat to students and get to know. So you can see there's a few there, why I chose Maynooth University, or my journey in electronic engineering and the engineering maths exam. And that is written by Princess Wilson, who will join us later on at the Meet the Students webinar if anyone's interested in the engineering maths exam. So then we're just coming near the end, and open days. Open days are super, super important, and our next one is on June 26th. So what do the open days give you? And this virtual open day, what can you get? So We have a live chat on the day where you can speak to your future lecturers, as I've said that on web chat. You can chat to different departments such as accommodation, student supports. Then there'll be webinars, specialised webinars on the day, and more kind of in-depth academic information on your future kind of area of studies. And also you can find a virtual campus tour there. So I've just kind of put 2 examples of the students just to finish up the student takeovers. This is just an example that Andrea, who'd done a takeover, put up before. So Andrea is an MH201 science student, and she said the lectures are fantastic and really get you interested in your subjects. You can see the passion when they lecture you, and science can seem hard and overwhelming, but the lectures break down the complexities to simple elements so you can understand it. Then William, an electronic engineering student, said he ended up in Maynooth and University engineering by accident, and he's so glad he did. The lectures are so helpful. I'm never stuck for help. I've gotten so many opportunities in the engineering department, and this summer I travelled to Texas working on a research project on vital sign detection using radars. I'm going to be doing my work placement next semester, and I'm really looking forward to it. So that's just some of the examples of the kind of student takeovers you can get. So I'm going to just stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to chat to Hira, our student ambassador here, for a few minutes. So Hira, so firstly, what secondary school were you in?
So I went to Calasanctious College for the first 3 years up until I did my junior cert, and then I switched over into Yates, and this was out in Galway.
So it's actually quite far away, Galway, from Maynooth.
Very far.
And so I guess we're kind of chatting about, researching your college options online. So I guess you didn't really need to at the time because you're in second year now, isn't it?
Yes, I am in second year now, and it was a while ago, back pre-pandemic, back when, however that used to be. And around the time I think that I began researching colleges, I was out in like the west of Galway, and I'm talking like back out west and like as far out as you can get. And I remember my mom had gone on all of the university websites, and she had emailed a bunch of people, and somehow she had gotten a bunch of prospectuses delivered to our house.
Stop.
Yeah. So I guess before I kind of looked at these prospectuses and I kind of looked at universities, I had known that I wanted to do law. I just didn't know where I wanted to do it.
Okay.
So I was looking at all of these prospectuses and picking out all of the, the law courses in all of these different universities. And I kind of just threw them all down in my CAO and kind of forgot about it. The CAO closed, and I was like, look, you know what? I'm just going to focus on the Leaving Cert. And then we have a few weeks afterwards, after the Leaving Cert, until July 1st, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'll have like a kind of a focused kind of look then. And so I kind of just forgot about it, did my Leaving Cert. And around that time, I had gotten a postcard in the post from Maynooth University reminding me about a summer open day.
Okay.
And so I had gotten this postcard, and around that time we were kind of going up to Galway or to Dublin to kind of look at all of the different universities. And so I was like, do you know what? Like, I will have a look. And so I brought my postcard into my school and I had a chat with my guidance counselor. And I was like, tell me everything you can tell me about the LLB course, the BCL, the arts, and then kind of switching into law. And he kind of made me a list of things that I should kind of ask for and kind of, remember to ask. Because,
yeah. Which is helpful, super helpful.
Absolutely. And so kind of going into this open day, I had a few aspects of the course that I really wanted an in-depth review of, because as I said, I wanted to do law. I wasn't really sure where I wanted to do it, but I had a few things that were really, really important to me, kind of like public speaking and communication, because that's a very, very important aspect of being an aspiring solicitor or a barrister. And at the time, I wasn't really that confident. I didn't really have a lot of experience doing, public speaking and debating or any of that. And so I wanted to know, like, how would I kind of ease myself into this? Anyone can kind of go from the Leaving Cert into college and kind of like, look at these books and kind of study, but like, how do you apply that knowledge?
Yeah.
How do you know that what you're picking up is actually correct? How do you know that you're interpreting something the correct way?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so my family and I got in the car, went up to Maynooth, and kind of stepping onto campus, I kind of knew like, okay, this is a nice place. Like I kind of really like the vibes here. It was really, it was really colorful, and there was a lot of people around. And what I kind of really liked was that it was like the university, and kind of it is spread across 2 campuses, but we're only separated by like a tiny little strip of road that you can barely call a road because it's like a 2-minute walk over. And what I really liked was there was like the big university and kind of the residences and stuff, but around that was like the town. And it was really like walking down 5 minutes and you're kind of like at Main Street and you're in Centra, or walking down 10 minutes and you're at McDonald's.
Everything's very close by.
As someone who kind of grew up in small towns and rural areas, this is something that I really liked. It was kind of like stepping out of my comfort zone, but not really, because I was kind of still in that environment that I knew. And so I went up to the open day and went to all of the kind of the law assigned lectures. And at the time, MU Ask a Student wasn't really a resource then. So I knew that I had to kind of go up to the stands and ask the department people, ask students. And I had in particular had a chat with a current PhD student, Claire McGovern, who actually I remember meeting her on later in the year, and she was like, I remember you. I was like, yeah, I was that really confused leaving cert asking about law.
That's me.
So I went up and I kind of asked her, I was like, will you just kind of talk me through the course, talk me through kind of like the main aspects, and kind of tell me how it would work, like what would lectures be like, what would tutorials be like. And so she gave me a really in-depth kind of structure of the course and kind of what it's like to study at Maynooth and what it's like to study law and what the department is like. And so I kind of walked away from that feeling really just like, it was like a moment of just like clarity, because like you're really, really confused.
And sorry, here, a question actually just came in asking, what age were you when you went to the open day?
I was 17.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I turned 18. I turned 18 a little bit later on, but I was 17 going to the open day.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, I forgot where I was at.
So you had you went to the law department stand at the open day.
Yes. And I had talked to students, but I kind of just wanted to get an insight of like what the department was like.
Okay, so they had given which is so important too, because that's your future lectures, your future department. Yeah.
Exactly. And I kind of just wanted to get a feel of like, like how they would treat their students, like are they really helpful, like when you reach out to them? And spoiler alert, they were. They gave me this, they gave me their email, and I had gone home and sent them an email, and I had a bunch of really specific questions of kind of about traveling abroad, work placement, kind of modules in particular. Like I wanted to know about like the negotiation module, like did you have to have like prior experience negotiating, or kind of could you just like walk in and, they would tell you what you need to know. So they were really kind of specialized questions. And what the law department did was they sent off my questions to a bunch of specific different people who kind of dealt with those areas, such as, study abroad. And in that, I had got in touch with Dr. Fergus Ryan, who is a professor and a senior professor and a really prominent figure in the law department. And he kind of arranged, I thought it was just going to be like an email thing, like we're going to shoot a bunch of emails back and forth. And he actually offered to give me a call and answer any questions that I had in real time. And because this was pre-Zoom era, at that time we did phone calls. So he offered to give me a call, and we had a really lovely chat, and he asked, do you know where you're going to be living? And I kind of told him where I would be, and he was like giving me directions, and he was like, here, I like get a bike.
Oh my God.
But even then because I was telling him, like I was, as any parent would kind of be, my parents were worried about me kind of moving away by myself to this new university, like on the other side of the country. And and he was really reassuring. And he was like, like you could get on a bike and 5 minutes away at Maynooth University. But even if you don't have a bike, it's a 15-minute walk, kind of anywhere to where you need to be. And so, yeah, it was really reassuring. And it kind of gave me this sense of not even like, because I knew that like now I was going to go to Maynooth, but now it gave me like a better understanding of what life would be like at Maynooth. Because who better to kind of give you an insight of what it's like to be than people who are actually there. So yeah, that was like my journey into coming into Maynooth.
I think it's amazing, and I can just see that we're finishing up on time here. We need to go into our next session, but I actually think that's so interesting, everything that you've said here. And I think if there's any kind of key takeaway as well is to get in touch with departments, get to know your future lecturers, get to really become familiar of your kind of future life. And, you know, there is that friendliness in Maynooth, and there is that kind of accessibility that you can speak to your future lecturers and get to know the place. So as part of your online kind of, or your college researching journey, definitely important to get to know the departments, get to know the lectures, get to know the modules, get to know the degree area, use the Ask a Student platform, speak to your future or to current students, and follow even the social media stuff. Like I know Law are really active on Instagram, and I think they might even have a TikTok now as well.
Yeah.
And so if anything, I think here you're a great example to show the kind of the great kind of route you can take when you're researching your college options. And look how happy you are now, Maynooth.
Yeah, exactly.
So thank you so much, Hira, for joining me for your researching college options online. And if anyone wants to ask Hira any questions, you can find her. The link is just on her backdrop there, but it's mu.ie/ask-a-student. So thank you so much, Hira, and Laura will put the session back over to you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Deirdre, and Hira. And like I said, I think it's just a really good idea to show people that sooner you start researching, so there's never too early to kind of explore your options, see what you're interested in. The more time you spend at that, the easier sixth year becomes in terms of whittling down your choices. So absolutely, Hira, I think you're very organised, and thank you for that. So I think
that's absolutely no problem at all. And yeah, just I know that we're finishing up, but I would say to kind of any, you know, incoming students, you know, you're thinking about coming to Maynooth, but you're not really sure, please reach out, because we're here to help you, especially the students, and we will give you an in-depth review of kind of anything that you need to know. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Hira.
No problem at all. All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Thank you, Hira. Okay,
so we have a few of our, here we go. We're going to bring in some of our next panel.
Brilliant. Yeah, so the next thing we have is the clubs and societies and sports scholarship information as well. So some of our sports officers, we're going to be joined by Club and Societies Co-ordinator McCourt. We're going to be joined by two of the students that are part of the different societies to have a chat. We're going to be joined by some of the sports officers, so GAA, Rugby. We have a soccer scholar joining us to give the student experience. And we also have Paul Davis joining us to be able to talk about the other sporting areas that the scholarships are available in as well. So there's a lot to get through. So I think first of all, we're going to start with the clubs and societies and kind of give students a flavour of what that is, what it means, what your interests might be, the kind of community that is involved around clubs and societies, and the students will give a little bit of a taster about that as well. And then we'll move on to the sports area. So Mary, if you're happy enough, welcome everybody. Good to see you all.
Hello everybody, how are you?
Very good.
Good to be here. Good to see Hira. Hira is also very involved in societies. So she is, yeah, she's on committees, yeah.
Fully involved in student life.
Absolutely, yeah, good to see her, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, yeah, I think,
so should I?
Happy enough to share your screen there and start and have a chat, that'd be great.
Okay, let me see now. Let's hope.
We all hold our breath.
Oh, yeah, hang on, share screen, okay. Does it ever go right? We'll see.
And I suppose, sorry, just to say to any students or people obviously listening as well, we do have a Q&A there, so please do send in any questions and we'll get to them at the end, where we can talk to kind of the whole panel with any questions. So please do use the Q&A box if you have something you want to ask.
Mm-hmm. Is that okay there now?
Yeah, I can see.
Laura?
I can see that. Yeah, if you can put it, if you want to put it into the slideshow mode, then I think we're good to go.
If I put in the slide, sorry now, if I put in the slideshow mode, will it continue to go? Sometimes when I stop and chat to the girls, it might.
It's time. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Your way it works. Absolutely.
Sorry about that. Okay. Hi girls, how are you? Laura, I'll just introduce Katie and Aideen, and they're from the Trampoline Club and Tea Society. Katie is also from. So we're going to take you through what club and societies are about here at Maynooth University. Okay, so we're going to have a quick look at what we call the Maynooth experience, what are club and societies, the range of interests and activities on campus, society opportunities, club opportunities, and why should you get involved? So the Maynooth experience is everything that is outside the classroom, really, you know, and we have great courses, absolutely brilliant courses in Maynooth, but there is more to our campus and life outside of the classroom. Plenty of opportunities to get involved, to develop and become a leader. There's plenty of activities to kind of kick back and unwind. So we have over 100 clubs and societies, about 85 odd clubs and 85 societies and 32 odd clubs. It varies from year to year. And then there's also the opportunity to get awarded and recognised for getting involved in clubs and societies, and that's the Maynooth University Student Experience Award. We'll touch on that also. So I would encourage you now, as we make our way through the club and societies, that, you know, keep in mind that you should have a go when you come to college. I know you're not in college yet, but definitely would encourage you to have a go when you get to college. So what are clubs and societies? So clubs and societies are led by students for students. They're communities of interest and activities who aim to create and encourage and promote a sense of belonging among our students. And this complements the academic mission of the university. So first and foremost, clubs and societies are student run. The students are elected each year and they run them. And I'll talk about that a little bit later on. I'm just there to support the students in running the clubs and societies. We don't get involved in the day-to-day running. We're here to support them, to help them in running the clubs and societies on a daily basis. So as I said, 85 societies and 35 clubs, and we do cover a wide range of activities. So clubs are mainly sporting interests and societies are non-sporting interests. Okay, so we'll have a quick chat about societies first. So they're broken into 6 categories, I think. Yeah, so academic. So any society that is linked to a subject, like an academic department, like law, for example. You just heard Hera talking about law. She's actually involved in law society. So that is linked to an academic department. So there's a law society. French is linked to an academic department. Music, psychology, chemistry, you know, criminology, they are all academic. They're all subjects. So those societies are linked to academic departments. And, you know, you can work alongside the academic. I know Law Society definitely works very closely with the department, as does ELSA, which is European law, as does FLAC, which is Free Legal Aid. And they all work quite closely with the law department in getting sponsorship and hosting events, etc. Political then are, you know, Young Fine Gael, Young Ógra Fianna Fáil, you know, Sinn Féin and Labour Youth and all the rest. But they're all political parties that are on campus, again, and they would have connections to the major, you know, the main political parties. Performance-based then will be the likes of drama, musical society, dance, trad music. All of these are, you know, you're on stage and you're performing. That's what we class as a performance-based society. Interest in hobbies then, cards, creative writing, Disney, which won Best Society this year. You know, if you have an interest or a hobby, you know, that is the area. Those are societies that are set up by students that have interest in these things, arts and crafts, literary and debating, all interest in hobby type societies. And then we have civic, social and cultural. So, you know, there's a cause, or you know, there's kind of a mission, you know, or charity type society. So you'll see in there that there's a culture, and you know, like Africa Society or Indian Society, Filipino, like that's a culture type, Maynooth Mission Outreach, and you know, cancer, they would be charity type, you know, society. So they would fall into that bracket. And then obviously then there's faith, there's the Christian Union, Jesus Ministry, JP2 isn't on this list, but John Paul Theological Society, Islamic Society, they're all faith-based societies. So Katie, I'll just ask you, if you want to, you're involved in Tea Society, so maybe you would, you know, give a little chat about, I mean, what is a tea society? It's an interest in hobby. How can you have an interest in tea? I love a cup of tea myself, but how can you have an interest in tea? What is the Tea Society about?
Well, anyone who knows me or has lived with me knows how often I go for the kettle, and I just love tea, and I can't remember how I got into it. I think there was a few of our members in Trampoline were part of it, so I was like, oh, I'll tag along one day, and just went up into meeting room 3 and 4 in the Students' Union, and they were all there on bean bags, chilling out all around the big massive table, drinking teas I'd never heard of before. I remember I tried like a red velvet tea. It was absolutely wonderful, loads of biscuits, and it was just really, really chill. It was just somewhere to go to chat basically, and you know, have a break from your lectures or from essays or something, and it was lovely. It was just really, really chill.
Excellent. So that's just one example of an interest or a hobby. You know, it's just a small little society, but still in all, they meet on a regular basis, you know, and you are exploring different ideas, but you are making friends as well. Very important that you are making friends. Clubs then are also divided into 6 categories. So we have court sports, which are, you know, racquetball, badminton, basketball. You can see them there, GAA handball, table tennis, and trampoline. And we'll come back to trampoline in just a minute. Martial arts, then you have your Aikido, judo, boxing, karate type ones. The development sports then are the scholarship type sports. So that will be all the GAAs. So the 4 GAAs, the 2 soccer. So it's, you know, ladies and men's soccer, rugby, ladies and men's, and then golf. But I won't talk about them too much because they will be talked about later on in the webinar. Then we have water-based like surf, canoe and kayak, aquatics, and then we have the field sports like hockey, American football, ultimate frisbee. But Aideen, maybe you will have a little chat about trampoline. Trampoline this year won Best Club of the Year for the university this year. So maybe you will just tell us a little bit about trampoline.
Yeah, so everyone gets really confused with trampoline. They think it's just like bouncing in the back of your garden like you do when you're growing up, but it's not. We have proper Olympic standard trampolines. We go to a lot of competitions throughout the year. Some obviously in Ireland, a lot abroad. We went to Scotland last year before the pandemic. And basically it is a gymnastic kind of sport. We have amazing coaches in the club, and it's just basically a lot of people come with no experience, and you just kind of work your way up through the sport. You do flips and tricks, and it looks really cool. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I got involved. I saw them training one day and I was like, oh my God, I want to do that. But yeah, we obviously do a lot of events for charity as well. As any club, there's that social aspect to it. You make the best of friends. You don't have to just be at training 24/7. We go for like lunch after trainings, and we all kind of hang out with each other. Me and Katie are the co-captains, and we met in her first year and ended up like living together. So you do make your kind of solid friend group through the sport, I think. And yeah, that's basically what we do.
Excellent. So clubs and societies, you know, from beginners to advanced levels. Do you, girls, would you chat about maybe, you know, if you're a beginner starting in trampoline, for example, you know, not everybody has to be you know, an expert in joining a club or a society, and you know, you can start with no knowledge, and from the beginning we encourage every student to get involved in something new or try something new. So if you have never bounced, let's say you didn't have a trampoline when you were growing up, do you offer you know, classes and information on how to start as a beginner in trampoline, for example?
Absolutely. Like, I had no trampolining knowledge or skills or anything when I joined, and everybody that joins, whether they had that garden trampoline at home, starts from the very beginning. We start with the basic skills that you need to go up, because you can't be doing flips and tricks if you don't know how to land properly or stop yourself when you hit the trampoline. So everybody does start at a very beginner level, and then as you work your way up, there's different kind of competitions throughout the year, so you can kind of test your levels, see how you're getting on. But our coaches kind of monitor people's progress very carefully, but there's absolutely no like requirement to know what you're doing before you start.
Yeah, excellent. And you can see there that that's a photograph of our canoe and kayak club, and not everybody is at that level. You know, they start on the canal in Maynooth, and very, very slow and steady, shall we say, when they're starting out. So there is something for everybody, and whether you've done it before or not, you know, you can start when you join Maynooth or join a Maynooth University club or society. So the Media Society as well, if you've never taken a photograph, there's going to be somebody there to show you how to do that also. Our soccer clubs and GAA and golf and rugby, they're our scholarship programs. So they are at an advanced level. But I know, let's say the GAA, for example, maybe Jenny might chat about this later on, but they do, especially for international students, they try and have some sort of sessions around those that have never played as well. So I'll leave that to Jenny to talk about later on. IESN, this is the International Society. So most of the students involved in this that joined this society are international students visiting Erasmus students. So we encourage Irish students to get involved in this society also, because it is a great way to find out about other students from other countries and other cultures, and you do make friends with them and end up, you know, going back and forth to their countries and visiting with them later on, you know, when you finish college or whatever, because you would have made friends. So and it is a great society to be involved in, because they do a lot of trips, and hopefully they'll be able to do trips this year around Ireland and abroad. It's a great society for trips. Hopefully we'll be having trips this year. So run by students for students. So that's what I was talking about at the beginning. Each club and society is run by students. So every year in April, clubs and societies hold an annual general meeting to elect the committee for the following year. Committee is made up of 5 core people, but can have extra on it. So you'd have a president or captain, for example, in trampoline, vice president, treasurer, secretary, and PRO. They're the main. There's also safety officers, for example, and we have COVID officers now as well, obviously, for when we go back, just around the safety area around that too. But they're elected each year. So girls, do you want to talk about running trampoline, the two of you, Katie or Aidan? Do you want to talk about the day-to-day running of trampoline?
Go on, Katie, you do all the work.
Definitely not. So I think running the club this year has been made a lot easier by the fact that myself and Nadine live together. So it's literally a trip downstairs. So what do you think about this? What do you think about that? We were in contact with our committee an awful lot this year. I think there was that temptation for a lot of clubs and societies to kind of fall to the wayside a bit and let this year just be as it was, but we were like, no, we are not doing that. And we've had weekly events. We got elected in mid-October, and from then on we had coffee and chats every week. We had big events in the evenings about every fortnight. One of our main goals was to have more collabs, and I think that's something that we've definitely improved on in previous years. We had weekly collabs with other trampoline clubs such as Trinity, UCD, DCU. We had them very regularly, I think every week. We had like little workouts or stretching. And then we had clubs with other MU clubs and societies, like the Mental Health Society, the Access Society. And it was really just trying to create new ways to keep in contact with each other and to keep people busy. And one of our events, which we did for charity, our escape room, actually won best event at the Clubs and Societies Awards. We were very, very happy about that as well.
Excellent. So on a daily basis, myself and there's another Club and Societies coordinator, the other Mary, and we're just here to support the students, you know, on a day-to-day basis, advise them and give them direction, you know, if they have any questions. We have a great job, actually. So building mini communities on campus, that is what clubs and societies do. A club or society is set up because someone has an interest, someone has an idea, and they rally the troops and get a club or society up and running, you know. And if there isn't a club or society that you would be interested on campus when you come to campus, shall we say, you can always set up your own. So really, why get involved? Why get involved? Aidan and Katie, why did you get involved?
I saw someone doing cool tricks and I was like, oh my God, I want to try that. And one of the current members came over and pulled me in and was like, get on the trampoline. And then after training, they were all going for lunch and they invited me. And it is just the friendliness of people that kept me around and the friends that you make.
How about you, Katie?
Yeah, quite similar. I was the only one in my year who came to Maynooth, so I was very much like on my own. And I do English and history, and they're very big kind of lectures. So I found it very hard to make friends within my courses. So I joined, like a lot of first years, a load of clubs and societies. Trampoline was the only one that really stuck, and a little bit of badminton, a little bit of tea society as well. But I remember then just going in and I saw someone doing a double back way up in the air and I was like, oh my God, I am just not doing that. And then just got more and more involved. And that's been it really, yeah.
Excellent. So you have made lifelong friends, that I can definitely see. So you are a good advocate for making friends anyway, the two of you. And you even shared the cat now. The famous cat. So, but have you developed new skills? Have either of you have run trampoline now for a couple of years? So have you developed new skills? So can I say you have developed leadership skills? Do you want to have a, you know, maybe expand on that?
Oh, absolutely, with the new skills. And I feel like on the topic of like new skills, you find when you kind of run a club or society, you end up going into job interviews and talking about running that club or society more than any kind of work experience you have, because you learn so much and you can bring what you learn through running a club and society with you to the future. Like this year with me and Katie, like as Katie was saying, we had to show massive resilience this year, moving a very physical club online and still kind of keeping people engaged. We had to be very creative with the events we were running. We had to keep our committee motivated, which is the kind of leadership skills right there. And just in general, organization, time management, all that kind of stuff you learn through a club of society, but it's kind of learning it the fun way. It's not like going into a job and working 9 to 5. You can sit with your friends on a Teams call and learn how to set up different links, and it's the funnest way to gain these skills, I think.
How about you, Katie?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Leadership is something that definitely came to the fore this year. I was also PRO last year as well, and that was like a whole different skill set that I'd never had any experience in before. And you learn as you go, kind of thing. And it's kind of, you can make like mistakes and whatnot, because it's not a very high pressure like area, so you can learn and expand your knowledge base and everything, and it's great. Like it's you won't really get that, I think, in other aspects of life, kind of thing.
Okay, thank you, girls. So this is just a variety of what we have available. You see Mars FM, that's our radio station there, and Canoe and Kayak, fencing, and equestrian is you have to go off campus for some club events like equestrian and canoe and kayak and aquatics and stuff like that. But it, you know, going on the bus is all part of the fun as well. So it has improved your employment opportunities then, you think, as you just said, when you go into an interview, you spend time talking about what you have learned in a club or society. So obviously you have leadership skills, you know, the money side, running a club or society and looking after the money that you're given by the university. That's a massive, massive role for any treasurer. It's huge. Promoting your club or society, to be able to promote it, those PRO skills, Katie, you talked about, they are all life skills that you would bring out of the college with you, not just with, you know, not just your degree, but you have extra. When you're involved in a club or society and run a club or society, you leave university with some extra skills. Did either of you go forward for the Muse Award this year? Yeah, and you, I presume you were awarded. Yes, yeah, okay. So both Katie and Aideen went forward for the Muse Award this year. So when they graduate, they will receive this along with their degree. So it's just an extra recognition from the university on what they have achieved in clubs and societies and the extracurricular side of life in the college. Most important thing though is to have fun. That is the most important thing. Have a laugh, have the crack, have fun. That is one of the main reasons to join club or societies. You know, exams, college, it can be hard going, and you never forget the fun side, which is clubs and societies. You have a good time, main thing. So as I said at the beginning, we would encourage every club or every student to join a club or society, whether you have ever been involved in that particular club or society or that activity before, it doesn't make any difference. Aideen pointed out there that everybody in Trampoline starts as a beginner, even if you have bounced your way through life as a, you know, on the trampoline in the back garden. Everybody starts as a beginner. So we would encourage everybody to join club and societies. You will make great friends and gain great skills when you join club or societies. So all information on our clubs or societies is found on mulife.ie. Every club or society is listed, and you just click into the individual club or societies. You know, you can message them there, and they will come back to you with any information. Everything is on the club society's website, mulife.ie. So that's a little bit of a tour of club and societies. I don't know, Katie and Aideen, have you anything else to add? I don't know if I'm ahead or behind. I'm finishing too early or not. I'm not quite sure.
No, you're perfect. I think now we're just wrapping up now is perfect.
Okay, girls, would you have any kind of information now to give to prospective students that are thinking of coming to Maynooth University?
I would just say, like, don't hesitate to get involved. I know a lot of first years kind of look back and they're like, oh, I wish I'd gotten involved in XYZ sooner. And it can be really daunting to kind of walk into a training or to go to a meetup of a society, but just do it because you won't regret it. Whether you go and you end up not really enjoying yourself at the society, you will find one that sticks with you, and you will find one that kind of brings you that fun side to college. When you go to college, you have a lot less hours in lectures than you do in school, and you have a lot more free time and independence to do the things that you want to do. So find that you are passionate about and just jump in because you won't regret it.
There you go. Well, I'll hand you back there now, Laura, and thank you everybody for listening.
That's brilliant, Mary. Thank you very much, and thanks, girls, for your perspective. It's always nice to hear that experience about an easier way to get to know people, a different way to make friends, to find those interests outside of the lecture hall. So I mean, it's a really nice overview and show people kind of a taster of picking up something completely they've never heard of, or maybe something that they'd be familiar with. So I think it's a really nice experience and chance for people. So, and obviously a lot of the people are TY's 5th year age that are listening at the moment, but I think knowing what's ahead of you and knowing what you can maybe get interested in or find an interest in is going to be really important. Okay, so thank you for that. We're going to now just move on to some of the sports officers to have a chat. So a little bit about the different sports and scholarships that are available, and we have a sports scholar, a soccer scholar joined us as well. So I'm going to go to Jenny Duffy, who is our GAA Development Officer first, if that's all right with you, Jenny.
Yeah, hi Laura, how are you doing? Hi.
How are you? Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. I'm just going to share my screen here now, so if you just bear with me.
Perfect. Yeah, that's coming up there now. Brilliant.
Okay, perfect. Just move this aside. Okay, hi everyone, how are you doing? My name is Jenny Duffy. I'm the GA Development Officer in Maynooth University. I'm going to take you through a very quick presentation. I think Mary said it all, and the girls in terms of clubs and societies, and everything that Mary has said rolls into the GA club as well. So our whole structure is built around our clubs and societies format and structure, how things are run. So I'm just going to go into the real nitty gritty of, I suppose, the GA club itself. There's 2 parts really to my role. The first role is club operations and the actual running of the club itself. And then the second piece is the high performance program, so our scholarship program. They combine nicely together. But I'm going to, for the purpose of this presentation, I'm just going to talk you through the club first. I suppose our mission, the teams that we have and the teams that you could possibly join, whether you're at elite standard or whether you're a beginner or in between. Okay, so we have teams and opportunities for everybody at every grade. And then I'll talk about our high performance teams and the actual program itself. Okay, so you can see there our mottos are MUGA family and your club away from home, because that's essentially what we're all about. We're one big family. Okay, everyone looks out for each other in the GA club. So just here, our actual mission, which is what we live by, and how we operate throughout every year, every academic year. Our aims really are to provide playing opportunities to all Maynooth University student GA players in both elite and non-elite 3rd level competitions. So that's participation and social teams as well on top of that. And Mary alluded to international teams and things like that. So we've actually had international teams represent Maynooth University GAA in All Ireland competitions, playing other international teams from other 3rd level institutes. So our second mission is to grow the GA club membership and constantly strive to compete at the top table in 3rd level competitions. So we are doing that at the moment, which is great. So all of our elite teams are playing in Division 1 and the top level standard, and we then have a huge amount of teams that are playing in Division 2, 3, 4 and social teams as well. So, and the most important piece really is to endorse the MUGA club motto, which is, as I said already, you're a club away from home, which essentially is, you know, if you're a GA player already and you're used to playing in your own parish or your own towns or your own cities, that you would come to Maynooth, and Maynooth would become, you know, your new home, your new GA home, and you essentially become part of the club and our operations and how we run the club. You learn how to become a chairperson, secretary, treasurer, whatever you could be a PRO, you could get involved in video analysis, you could get involved in so many different aspects of the club. But essentially we are one big family. So the teams that are currently available to you in Maynooth University, they're broken up into men's football, hurling, ladies football and camogie. And we also have handball as well. Okay, there's a total playing membership of 600 players in any given year. Obviously that's comprised of all of these teams that are here on the screen. So in terms of our elite teams, you can see them highlighted in yellow. So that's our senior football, our Sigerson team, our senior hurling, Fresher 1 football, Fresher 1 hurling, and then our ladies football senior 1 and our camogie senior 1. The reason why we do actually have fresher teams in ladies football and camogie, we have a multitude of them. Okay, so if it is your thing and you really are interested in joining up with one of the ladies teams, definitely do it, because you know it's made up of All Ireland blitzes. Okay, the reason for that is there's a segregation between the men's football and hurling. The freshers in men's football and the freshers in hurling aren't actually allowed to play senior Okay, they're not allowed to play senior standard because of the overload of training and games at various different levels outside of third level. But in ladies football and camogie, in the female sports and codes, you are allowed to play senior. Okay, so hence there. So we also have intermediate, junior, fresher 2, plenty of opportunity there for you to play and to join up with whatever team it is that you'd like to know. I suppose just going back on that, there are trials available. So while our scholarship students our scholarship student make up our Sigerson, our Fitzgibbon, our Ashburn and our Giles and our Fresher 1 and Fresher 2 hurling and football. They only make up part of those teams. So we would have players who aren't on scholarship on those teams as well. Okay. I'll talk to you more about the scholarship program and how to apply for that as well. But just to be sure that, you know, our elite players, our Sigerson and our Fitz teams and our senior programs and teams are made up of both elite and non-elite players. Okay. So just to move on to the scholarship program, for anybody who's really interested, the eligibility and minimum criteria that you need to be aware of in terms of applying for a scholarship. You need to have, and this is as an incoming first year, okay, because we have a number of different routes into our scholarship program. It's run at a yearly basis, which means that you can apply every year that you're in college, whether you're coming in as a scholar or not. So we allow for different rates of progression through this program. So you must represent your county at minor grade under 17 upwards. That's the minimum criteria, okay? You must be eligible, or your eligibility is based on an applicant's ability to continuously demonstrate a high level of performance, excuse me, at county level. So what we're looking for there is that, you know, you're participating in our program, but that both inside and external to third level, that you're engaging with your county and you are progressing with your county team. So in Maynooth, you must attain a minimum of 300 CO points, and that's in the April incoming first year's intake, and or maintain course requirements, obviously, for the continuing / postgraduate intake, which is August. Okay, so that's the other routes that I was explaining. You also must be a member of the GAA Ladies Football or Camogie Club, out external to Maynooth. So how do you actually apply? So as I said, there's 2 different routes. The first route is an incoming first year applicant, and the application is always online. You'll see it, you'll find it on our website in the sports section, and all the MUGAA social media sites. Okay, so that's Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. We're very active on all of those pages, on those forums. Our closing date is the 1st of April yearly. Okay, so that's for incoming first year applicants. So the closing date is the 1st of April yearly. It'll open in early December. So there's plenty of time to pop in and fill out your application form. If you are a second year student, third, fourth or postgrad student, then our scholarship process opens to all eligible second year to final year in August. Okay, so you just keep an eye on our social media pages in August, and whether you have been a scholarship student in first year or haven't, but maybe you have proven yourself and you're progressing nicely, then you have the opportunity to apply then in August. Okay, so the process is as follows. You complete and submit your scholarship application form. There's candidate shortlisting, there's an interview process, and there's candidate selection. So I always say to people, you know, be very careful and be very mindful and thoughtful about your references in terms of, you know, who has been part of your journey with you, who has been with you along your pathway, who has seen you progress, who has seen you have to show some sort of resilience on the field, off the field. You know, make sure that we're hearing all of that information, okay? So in terms of the actual scholarship program, okay, our philosophy is very simple. It's player-centered, okay? And there are times that can be thrown out, player-centered this, player-centered that. We are very player-centered focused in Maynooth, okay? It's about the experience, it's about the journey, and it's about, you know, how much you want to engage in our program in a supportive environment, okay? So you'll have your goals, your aims and objectives, and it's about trying to achieve those through our programs, okay? The exposure to our programs. So you're surrounded as a player by a learning environment. It's a natural learning environment because you're now surrounded and playing with players from various different counties. Okay, so they're bringing their experience, their cultures, what they know and how they train and attitudes and behaviours together. So it's all merging together and everybody's learning from each other. There's personal development. So while we want you to come in on our programmes, we want you to join the GA club, we want you to develop as a person as well. We want you to make sure that within our supportive environment, we have links with our student services department who are, our career development and whatever it is you need help with, we're there to make sure that you get it. And then the next piece is our high performance supports. So this is specifically for scholarship players, okay? It's very comprehensive and you are exposed as a player to basically the highest level of performance mechanisms that are out there. It's basically so that you are getting this exposure and you're able to take a couple of steps up the ladder to get to reach your goals that you're trying to make. So the supports that you would receive, you would be provided with membership to the Glenroy Gym, which is a 3-4 minute walk from campus. All our scholarship students work together down there. There's 2 swimming pools. We have our physio down there at times. You have 2 high performance gyms down there. There's a high performance team gym now on campus as well. So that'll be our actual teams will work down there, whereas our scholars will work in both the high performance team gym and in the Glenroy. So everyone is put through a functional screening to find out what your strengths are, your weaknesses are before you come into the program, so that we can make sure we're putting on an accurate forward thinking program. You'll have access to an S&C expert. You, as a player, we will track your development throughout this. We're introducing a new program this year. It's a new app called the RIPT app. So everything in terms of your S&C programs, this is available to all club members. S&C programs, to your nutrition programs, to your lifestyle, everything that you need is all going to be run through this app. Okay, so it's just at the touch of a button. Just fitness testing analysis, and probably the best part of our program is our medical and physio support. So if you're injured training or playing with us, then we make sure that you're looked after until your injury is right. There's performance goal setting, and then I see it as a supportive role that I have, is that we're activating your player goals. And you do that through meetings with us. There's sports psychology workshops, nutrition workshops, video analysis, and there's also access to 60 CAO points with the scholarship. There's financial support, and as I mentioned earlier, there's undergrad and postgraduate supports. So that's just a quick look here at some of our alumni who have actually come through our program and made it onto their senior county teams, the majority of which are still playing at the moment. So you might find somebody there from your own county that you know of that have all come through our programs and really embraced the program, and for their benefit and making their county squads, which is great. It's a fabulous experience. So that's me, yeah, Laura. Thank you. My details are there, and our socials are there if you want to take a quick snap of those, and you can contact me at any stage at all.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Jenny, for a lovely overview of everything that's going on. And I suppose that giving a taste of the scholarship and showing the different levels available, the different teams you can join. Just to mention, if anyone does have questions, if you send them in, we'll be looking at them at the end. So next up, we have Tom McKeown, who's the Rugby Development Officer. If you can share your screen there, it should, or Jenny, if you can knock off sharing your screen maybe.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, perfect. Hi, Tom.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks very much. Hello to everyone, and probably just nice to get an insight into Jenny's program again, and particularly nice to hear from Mary and the passion she speaks of about joining clubs and socks, and great to hear from students actually as well, getting their insight on how important it is to stay busy outside of your studies. My internet is a little bit unstable, so if it is, Laura, you might inform me.
Yeah, no problem.
If it is, I'll knock off my video.
Yeah, so as long as if it does get unstable and you're happy to just have a chat for a few minutes on whatever works for you.
Perfect. No problem. How's that showing now, Laura? Is that okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect. And still okay?
Yeah.
Great stuff. Okay, so to those who are listening now, welcome, and to those who are listening maybe after the fact, the notes are recording, and I hope you get something from it, and feel free to use my contact details at the end to follow up with any queries you may have. So just a brief history, I suppose, of what rugby is here at Maynooth University. Barnhollow FC will be quite a young club in I suppose in sports clubs terms. Formed in 1916. 1969. They amalgamated it 12 years ago with the university, but really, I suppose only in the last 8 or 9 years have we seen probably the benefits for both parties, and now it's a pretty seamless partnership from the university and the rugby club itself. So they're seen as very much one at the moment. So just to give a little bit of, I suppose, background on my own, although I obviously am looking at it through the lens of rugby today, I'm very much from a multi-sport background myself. Certainly, it says it there, late specialisation it would be in rugby. I played obviously rugby union through my secondary school only. Previous to that would have been very much soccer and GAA, and actually in school I developed to a semi-professional snooker player, so a bit of an odd route I've taken. Yeah, that kind of late specialisation I think is definitely something that school leavers can bear in mind, and rugby specifically I think is probably a sport that lends itself to that. Yeah, we'll look at some player, I suppose player development is what I do here, and really trying to help people foster a love for the sport, which we'll see going through. So really just a little bit on me there. Obviously have a read through it if you wish, and then we'll get going and just show you the overview of what we're going to discuss. So we're going to go through the rugby program overview, and like Jenny, we're going to discuss participation and opportunities. The club is obviously different to other clubs in university in that we are a hybrid club. So we're obviously a community-based club, but heavily involved in the university. So we would have players and teams. Some teams are 95% current students of Maynooth University. Other teams will have less students and a lot more alumni and past pupils. Past men and women, so it's very much a hybrid. So we're going to look at teams and opportunities, and then we'll delve into the scholarship a little bit. Some of the criteria is quite similar to Jenny's, and obviously some that's different being a contact sport. We'll go through the application process, and then obviously just some contact details at the end. So really, just I suppose, to summarise what we are, we're very much a university club, but we belong to local communities. Each year we bring in players, from really every corner of the country. Players from out west. We've had players from Achill Island. We've had players from Northern Ireland. Strong representation from the southeast of Leinster and Wexford, etc. We've had players from South Africa join, Chile. So we're very much very diverse in that regard. We are one of the largest clubs in Ireland, which is probably not commonly known, and that's, I suppose, linking back to what I said, we're very much different in regards to most university rugby clubs. If you pop up to play your game on a weekend, on a Saturday or a Sunday or a Friday evening, you're not going to have, I suppose, that club atmosphere. Whereas with us, we have the, I suppose, the strength or the positive side that we have a flourishing minis and youth section, disability rugby section as well. All for men and women and boys and girls. So it really is, I suppose, to nick Jenny's phrase, it really is a club away from home. So it's really a good way to, I suppose, bridge if it is difficult for you to adapt to third level. It's definitely the environment that will help. Provided a rugby experience to all levels. So of course I have one eye on high performance today. Maybe when I discuss the scholarship. But I really am passionate about getting people to play the sport, and you try it, whether that's in a social setting, tag rugby, touch rugby, lower levels of the game, whether it's developmental, whether it's someone who we see potential in maybe 12 or 18 months down the line, or whether they're coming in with a pretty strong rugby pedigree already, then obviously they will play for the higher sides. We've got a really quality coaching management structure on field, strength and conditioning. I know Jenny used a different platform. We're using a new one this year called Output, which basically logs all your strength and power and conditioning exercises. Video analysis, we're game breaker. So we do a lot of, for our scholarship players, we do a lot of individual feedback and positional specific feedback. And then obviously collectively we do a lot of team sessions, and unit sessions, so forwards and backs and team stuff. There's some mental skills and some sports psychology stuff to try and, you know, I suppose help players deal with the ups and downs of sport, which is why we all love it. And we're supported from some top class volunteers, so students and external. So of course, like I said, and as Mary said, you know, we try and harness the students to really have a role in running the club. Sometimes, some years that's more difficult than others, especially with busy schedules. But also we have external volunteers, so people in the rugby club who are passionate about helping players reach their potential. Top class facilities with our match standard lights here on campus, and our rugby specific gym and our high performance gym, as Jenny said. And we have 3 grounds, obviously University, we have Parsonstown, which was the original Barnhall ground, and we've some council grounds as well. So just going to run through the teams opportunities. I won't list them all, but I'll give you a quick overview of basically what we have here. What we have at the moment is 6 men's teams, which would include 5 adult men teams and an under-20s team, which would play at Premier level, which would basically play against academy players from all the provinces. We have 2 women's teams, really fast development in our women's game at the moment. I know rugby is probably only catching up in terms of the female game, but our female team has gone from Leinster Division 3 to Leinster Division 1 recently. And we've had multiple interprovincial representatives, and we expect a few more this year, actually, please God. So we actually secured back-to-back promotions and snuck the second one in just before the pandemic hit. So we're looking forward to getting a full season at Division 1 now in the coming season, touch wood, see how we go. And then the aim from there is to set a plan up to play and be sustainable in the All-Ireland League for women's. There's obviously opportunities there with disability rugby, or to become a referee or continue to referee if you already are, become an administrator, as we said, to try and get involved in the team, to volunteer, to be a manager if that's your strength. You know, if you're not keen to get on pitch, to really be part of the backroom team, which of course in every sport we know is really important. Our men's team is in All-Ireland League Division 2. I think of the last 52 games we've played, I think we've only lost 2 and drawn 1, and that was actually an unbeaten season in 2018-2019, which is only the second time it's happened in Irish rugby history. So we're hoping, and we're really focused on trying to make the step up to the top tier of club rugby in the next year or so. So moving on to the scholarship information. The 60-point CAO supplement is vital for some people coming in. If you've had to allocate a lot of your time to your sporting endeavours during your 6th year, probably not that relevant to this year's group, given there's been no sport. So hopefully everyone's had their head down. But for you boys and girls coming through 4th and 5th form now, or looking ahead to 6th year, that certainly is obviously a strong thing to have in your back pocket if you have the 60 points. It's only subject to achieving your 300 points, and the admissions team would give you more detail on that. There is some limited reserved on-campus accommodation. Again, that's paid for by the student, but it is handy to have that place reserved if you're coming from further afield. Physiotherapy. Again, we don't just look at this in terms of rehabilitation. It's more preventative measures as well, education around why we do things, and making sure that you're prepping yourself, whether it's for gym pitch or otherwise. Again, I think that's just doubled in just the top class facilities we have here. The video analysis is probably something that sets us aside from other programs, and that we really do delve into that individual feedback for our players. And then there are financial bursaries and a membership to the rugby club for those successful. So that will be for our higher end scholars, just to reward them, and I suppose to try and support them maybe to work less or not work at all while they're pursuing their rugby dreams and trying to achieve a high class qualification in their academics as well. So it's just for that support too. So I suppose I know Jenny mentioned intercounty. So for us, you know, ideally we're looking for players from a provincial or national representative background, or minimum obviously an area squad, regional identification program from provincial setups, and also obviously strong representation in their club or the schools games, so whether it's a senior cup or RC Cup if we're in the club game, and then just supplying those reliable references. I mean, I think like most sports in Ireland, it's fairly close, you know, community, so it's not hard to really delve into. Make a couple of phone calls, you'll find a contact, and we can obviously discuss and chat to your references about your qualities, which obviously we're hoping a few are listed on the right. So that's really the criteria is quite broad, but we'll try and get out to watch as many of the applicants play as well, which, you know, I know wasn't an option this year, but we're hoping obviously that returns. And then just the steps on basically what's ahead. So there's an online application which opens November 1st and usually closes at middle of April. May contact it myself, express, you know, your interest and stuff, although albeit that's very early, you know, there's no harm. Just do what's right for you, get your name in there, and wait your response from your online application. Is an interview process, and then just for rugby we have the physical assessment. I mean, particularly within rugby, the different positions you want to see where people are at. And physically, you know, as they come towards the end of their school days, and we look ahead to what maybe if it's going to take them 12 to 18 months to make the step up to senior, for example, or whatever it may be. And then the obvious one is obviously just to gauge your skill level and make sure, you know, that's on the right track. And then the final response and selection is usually mid-May, the latest, and then you'll know where you sit and where to go then for the leaving cert. Commonly asked question, can you still play rugby if you're unsuccessful in the scholarship application? And absolutely you can. Obviously, you know, our under 20 men and our senior women are highly, and the All-Ireland League men are highly populated with scholarship players. But there are also players that have come in here being unsuccessful in scholarship applications, and I'm happy to say I've certainly proven me wrong, and have joined the programme either halfway through year one or from year two, and have gone on to be some of our most decorated scholars, playing for Irish universities, etc. So it's very much, yes, there is a place for you, even if you're unsuccessful initially. Too sure. Oh, there, sorry. So then just contact information for those with any queries, please drop me an email or give me a call, and I'll happily answer them. And if you'd like to, I can link you into some other scholarship players or non-scholarship players, indeed, just to have a chat. And like here I spoke about earlier, and from the student's perspective, just to get a bit of, you know, it's one thing talking to me, it's probably, you know, get a better feel for it if you're discussing it with a student. So that's me, Laura. I'll hand it back, and if there's any questions, happy to answer.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Tom, for the overview there. And like I said, being able to offer people to talk to is always a really good starting point for people when they're exploring their options. And so I was actually going to go to Paul Davis next, if that's suited to cover, because I know he was looking to potentially present some golf information on behalf of Barry Fennelly as well as some of the other sporting options. So Paul, if you're available at the moment, that'd be great. Hello, welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Laura. And thanks to all our presenters today, the students and the clubs and socks office, yourself in admissions. And it's been very interesting for me as well. So I think we're all enjoying it. Right. I suppose I'm going to present on behalf of Barry Fennelly, our golf manager. He's given me a little presentation. But I'd like to say something as well before I do, just on you know, the overall sports offering in Maynooth University. We're hearing from our development sports today. You know, we've got our rugby, golf, soccer and GA, we heard from Jenny. But we do recognise in Maynooth University that there are a lot of you out there that might be very ambitious and maybe international athletes at an underage level or senior level even in sports. We don't offer scholarships for, so we do offer a CAO points concession the same points concession that we offer to all our scholars when we make offers. But the points concession offer, it won't come with any bursary attached. So you can apply for the points concession and under the scholarship platform, but it's very clear that you're applying for the points concession only. You have to get 300 points on your own merit. It can't automatically be applied to our primary teaching course, but to any other course in Maynooth University, it is applied. For primary teaching, believe it or not, it goes into a lottery system, and it's not so much the names get pulled out of the hats, but the sports get pulled out of the hats. So if rugby is pulled before GA, the top rugby prospect gets offered ahead of GA. So it's not very fair. It's a bit of luck, but that's the only system we have. We only get to offer 2 points concessions for Frevel. And most importantly, I suppose, in terms of people applying, if you are applying for that points concession because of your sport, the consideration criteria, you have to be selected by your national governing body of sport to represent Ireland internationally. So it's a very high standard. And not only that, we do look at your international results. So if you're selected to represent a European Championship, for instance, and represent Ireland, and you manage to either not finish the competition or come last place or outperform consistently, that puts up a red flag for us, and we say, really, you're not of an international standard. We don't have any proof. So it's a tough thing to get that points concession. So it's a valuable thing, but you can apply for it as with all sports scholarships to Maynooth University. The deadline will be April Fool's Day, if you can remember that, the 1st of April. So get on the Maynooth University website between November and April and get your application in. So I'll start Barry's presentation. So I'll share my screen here. Excellent. And I'll open the presentation. Here we go. Yeah, there's a better view here, isn't there, where I can make it full size?
It's just not come up on the screen just yet.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry, let me go back to Zoom here. Share screen and share. Apologies for that. Is that better?
Yeah, perfect. And just to mention for anyone that might be joining us, we are running obviously a few minutes over time for the schedule. So if anyone's joining us for the next session, I know a lot of people are here for the whole 2 hours, which is great. We will obviously be continuing that afterwards. So thank you. Thanks, Paul. We can see
okay. You. Thanks, Laura. So I'm presenting on behalf of Barry Fennelly. That's our golf manager. When you think of our golf program, we need to think very high performance. I'm just conscious that this is I should be able to make this a bigger picture.
Yeah, if you just press the slideshow button at the top, if you go up to the orange banner, there's a little square with an arrow in it, to the right-hand side of that. So the play button up the top
square
there.
With arrows.
Yeah, just across. Yeah.
This one?
Presentation mode. Will you press that?
Okay. Much better. Okay, so this is I just give you a background on behalf of Barry Fennelly, who's our golf manager. It is about excellence, and we've been going since 2006. 100 graduates to our golf program. 10 of those have turned professional. We have 6. We've had 6 in the world top 50 amateur rankings. The Arnold Palmer Cup has just finished, and we had 1 student there, but six of the last 8 stagings we've had, you know, Maynooth University students on the international team versus USA. So it's a bit like you know, it's the highest level of student golf competition. So these are Walker and Curtis Cups for the men and women. Which is Great Britain and Ireland versus USA. We're represented at a very high level, as you can see, 40 Irish internationals. In terms of World University Championships and Games and European University Championships. We've got 10 medals, and we've been European University champions on a number of occasions. So it goes on anyway. Irish Championship victories. There's a collegiate competition. I suppose in the recent past, just to provide high-level competition for our students, we've gone over to Britain. We've taken their titles as well. So we've been invited because we'd be internationally recognised for our programme. And just in terms of the national, you know, I mean, the whole league, the inter-club league in Ireland, we've won the national club title twice. I don't think they allow universities in afterwards because the local club golfers didn't like us coming in with their superstar teams. So it goes on. In terms of what you get on the golf program, we're very lucky to be in Maynooth. We're in Carton House. We've got Carton House down the other end of the town. And that houses the Golfing Union of Ireland National Academy. And we use, you know, different technologies and softwares to track our players. We have to show continuous improvement. So the championship golf courses, you have free access to them, and also the Royal Dublin Golf Club. That's where we play our competitions. And another privilege that you get is on-campus accommodation. We do keep our teams together. It's all about, I think we heard from the other sports as well, it's all about having the development officer or the golf manager in place, and they put together, you know, the top Irish coaches are involved with this. You get the performance analysis, the psychology, nutrition. Ireland, I suppose with golf, we're in a tough country during the winter. So there is a winter training camp, and that's away in Portugal at the end of the January exams. Every year you're away for a week for warm weather training. The Royal and Ancient Golf Club they get their money from the British Open, and we are what they call an RNA institution, so we're directly funded by them. And so not only do we get an institutional grant, but the sports scholars themselves get direct funding from the RNA. It's paid through the Maynooth University and passed on to them. And that can help subsidise accommodation. A lot of the events that we play, they give you World Amateur Golf Rankings. So the RNA Tour Series and the European, it's now a kind of a European tour. It's bigger than Britain and Ireland. There's a Bucks Golf Tour that we're involved with, and there's the Irish intervarsity scene as well. So you do get world rankings from all of these, so they're valuable. That gives you an idea of the schedule. There's a lot of international events. So they're not only in Europe, they're in America as well. Okay, there's a number of different categories of golf awards, platinum, gold, and silver. So platinum would involve, you know, your fees being paid, subsidy for international travel, all your coaches, your physio, and everything being paid. Your gold award would be slightly lesser, where you mightn't get your accommodation, but you might get all the coaching and everything. And silver, you're on a development squad, so you get more squad days with coaches rather than individual coaching and that, you know. Criteria, as you can imagine, handicap is 1, 0 or better for men, or 3 or better for women. You need to have a good profile and performances, and you need to have a good background in championships. So we'll be looking at your international representation, national and provincial, what you've done at under 18 or in schools. You do need your world amateur ranking, whatever it is, and you need to be heading to be top amateur. You need to have that in your head, or you need to be looking at turning professional. So we are a university, so there's a big academic obligation there, and some of that I covered off. You need your minimum 300 points to matriculate on your own merit. And you have to, you know, certain courses, you have to have certain languages or science backgrounds in your leaving cert results. So all that comes into it. We can give you, if you get the 300, we can add up to 60 CAO points. To continue on the scholarship, you cannot fail any year in Maynooth. You have to keep progressing and passing your courses. And there's there'll be links to that online application form from the university website, so don't worry too much about that. And you'll need to upload your information onto that. And 1st of April deadline, same every year. Okay, so that concludes the golf presentation and also my presentation on other sports. So back to you, Laura. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paul. That was great. And thanks for the overview and obviously presenting on behalf of Barry as well. That was brilliant. I'm very conscious of time. So we have the sports soccer scholar Owen with us. So what I just want to do briefly is I'm actually going to ask Owen just 1 or 2 questions so he can give a student perspective for a couple of minutes, and then we'll need to move on to the next session because there might be people joining us for that. Yeah, if you can just press the stop share screen.
I have there. Perfect. Apologies, I was looking for that.
No, that's brilliant. It's hard to see sometimes. There's a lot going on. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you.
Owen, if you're there, I suppose what I think is important for people to hear about is maybe why the benefits of the scholarship, I suppose, that you're on, the soccer scholarship, what you enjoy about it and why you would recommend it as a good option for some students.
Yeah, of course. So for me, I think Maynooth is always the perfect place for me to go. Sorry, my camera's not on, is it?
No, yeah, I wasn't sure you wanted to go. Perfect. Welcome.
So I always knew I wanted to go to Maynooth. I've heard such good things about it. You know, the standard of football has always been the main point and talking point of Maynooth for me. I've always known how conscious they are of developing their players and the teams. And there's so many teams, so even if you're not on a scholarship, they'll look after you and they'll keep, I don't know, on top of your grades. You know, that's really important for them. And of course, there's the same benefits as the rugby and the golf and the CAO. So yeah, I think it's definitely something to look into.
No, that's perfect. And just something you touched on really quickly there was the balance. I think that's important for people to know from the student perspective. Obviously, if you come in on a scholarship, this is brilliant. It's a massive part of what you're looking for, but you're also at university and also studying. So just the balance of that is quite important. I suppose the development officers as well and sports officers, they're quite supportive and helping in managing.
Yeah, Barry's very keen on that. So he'd keep in contact with you over if you're not happy with your course or anything, he'll always be there to help you. There's always extra tuition, which I found very helpful in first year. You know, sometimes you're missing tutorials or whatever, and they recognize that and they're there to help you. So last year wasn't as difficult, but
yeah, less sport in general, I suppose. Yeah. No, that's brilliant. I know I'm really sorry that it's a short overview, and I hope that if anyone's interested that you have contact details or you can reach out and get in touch with us, the admissions office, if anybody wants more information about any of the sports, or be put in contact or be put in touch with any of the people that might be relevant. So I just want to say thanks massively to the clubs and societies and the sports officers. There was one question that did briefly come in about can you get involved in more than one society, and that was answered, I know, by Katie earlier when she said she joined all of them at the start and then kind of figured out which one she was interested in and wanted to keep going. So I think that's covered there. But thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for taking the time to present and talk to hopefully some of our future students. And again, we'll direct any questions that come in to us later on onto the appropriate people. So thanks very much, guys. I'm just going to pass over to Deirdre now, and we're going to get some other students in to have a chat.
I can see my background is kind of messy, so 2 seconds. I'll change my background.
That is perfect. I'm just going to swap around and get some of your the other students in now. So bear with me.
Okay, I'm back. Hey.
Yeah, perfect. Sorry, I'm just changing around, swapping the attendees and the panelists for the next group. So again, thanks everybody. I know we're running a little bit over time there, but there was so much to talk about and so much to cover with the students, or with the students talking about the club society, the coordinator of the sports. Is a huge amount. So maybe for next time we'll know to give a little bit more time to that group when there is a huge amount to cover and a lot of different, I suppose, important aspects to cover with those students too. So we have a few of the students now joining us for the next section. So the next section is Deirdre is going to have a chat. It's a meet the students. We've always thought it's really important that prospective students, new students that are thinking about joining and interested in learning more, it's been really positive, especially I think in the virtual land at the moment, to actually talk to students and get their perspective. So Deirdre's actually just going to have a chat with students, and thank you guys for being patient. I know we ran a little bit over there, so apologies. But just to have a chat and kind of get your perspective, which I think is very important for students to hear from you guys who are studying day in, day out. So Deirdre, I'll pass that over to you.
Thanks so much, Laura. So I think Alana, just to turn the background off, because you're just you're turning into the background there. So hi everyone, and you're very welcome to the Meet the Student session. So first thing I guess I'll do is I'm just going to ask all of our students to introduce themselves, tell them what year of study they're in, and actually maybe, okay, so your name, what secondary school you attended, where you're from, and what your current area of study is, and what year you're in now. So Beth, maybe we'll kick it off with you.
Yeah, no problem. So my name is Beth McKeown. I'm from Louth, Dundalk specifically, and I went to Dundalk Grammar School. And I have just finished my final year in BSc Psychology.
Fab, thanks so much, Beth. And Vinayak, what about you?
Hi everyone. So my name is Vinayak, and I'm currently living in Ratoath. I went to Ratoath College, and I'm studying engineering. I just finished my 3rd year, and I'm just moving into my final year.
Perfect, thanks so much. I'm Vinayak, sorry, I pronounced that wrong. And Princess?
Hi guys, my name is Princess. I went to Regina Mundy College in Cork, currently in Cork at the moment. And I'm studying engineering in Maynooth. I'm in my 4th year going into the Masters, so it's an integrated Masters. And yeah, I think that's all you asked for.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks so much. And Alana, now that your background isn't on your face.
Sorry for that.
No, don't be sorry.
My name is Alana. I went to St. Mary's Secondary School, Derry, in County Offaly. I'm studying a major in business marketing and a minor in Nua Gaeilge, and I am going into my final year now.
Fab, thanks so much. So I guess one of the first questions I wanted to kind of ask everyone was, so people that are joining us today might be in 4th year, 5th year, and could be kind of looking, even like from a kind of TY perspective, might be looking at their subject choices. So I just have a quick question. If anybody had to pick particular subjects in order to kind of gain entry into the course that they wanted to at that kind of point of their CAO journey, maybe Beth, was there any kind of subjects in particular just in preparation for your area of study?
Yeah, well, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do in 4th year, so I did have kind of a general kind of array of subjects for my 5th year, and I would recommend that, generally speaking, like choose a few different ones, choose your strengths. I would always recommend that. Like I liked history, business, and music, so I did those in Leaving Cert as well, but I also did chemistry because I would, if you can, recommend doing science just because it covers your bases if you want to. Because I did the BSc psychology. That does require science to get into. The BA doesn't. But you do very similar stuff anyway, and it just gives you options. I changed my mind so much. I wanted to do like media studies, and then like English, and then pharmaceutical chemistry, and then psychology. So
no way. Yeah, you recovered. You were rightly covered. And I can see someone's actually just raised their hand. If it's okay, would you be able to put the question into the Q&A, and we'll incorporate into webinar today. Alana, what about you?
I suppose I didn't really know what I wanted to do. It's the same as Beth.
Does anyone?
But I suppose one of the subjects that I did actually start out doing at the start of first year, and which was great, having 4 weeks at the start of my course to sort of change my mind. I thought I wanted to do music. I thought I wanted to teach music. And then so that was one of the subjects I chose for my Leaving Cert, because I said, yeah, no, this is something I like it for my Leaving Cert. But then when I sort of started, I was like, oh no, it's not really the course for me, you know, that kind of way.
Which is good that you had those 4 weeks to actually see that and recognize that as well.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose other than that, I just sort of chose the same as Beth, sort of general subjects. I did Comac. French was one of the subjects that I chose because I knew I needed a third language. So that was definitely wasn't an option for me. I had to do French. And then I chose biology as well, just have a science subject.
Fab. And Princess, what about you?
So again, like, I think just do what you like. I did science, so all the sciences, so physics, chemistry, and biology. I think there's 3 of the pick, and then obviously the language was French. And yeah, I just definitely knew that I was going into either kind of like the physics, math side of things, or like science. But the thing is, I didn't really think of like, oh, what am I going to do in college? Like, I wasn't really thinking of that. I was just doing what I liked, to be honest. And it ended up like I ended up going into like, you know, engineering, which is kind of like the science. It's basically science or like physics in college. So yeah, I just advise do what you like, basically.
Amazing. And Vinayak, what about you?
So I mainly did, luckily in my secondary school, we had engineering as a subject. So I did engineering, I did physics, and I did chemistry, and I also did applied maths. They were challenging subjects, but I can say that basically a combination of all them exists in engineering, like electronic engineering in Maynooth University. So using those subjects for preparation definitely benefited me. But yeah, it kind of just gave me a taste for what I can expect in college.
Yeah, and, definitely.
So I was able to use that for sure.
And I know Vinayak and Princess are both engineering students, but Princess, you have a really interesting kind of CAO entry route, don't you? You did the engineering maths exam for entry. Would you be able to kind of go through that a little bit with us and what happened and how you went about doing the exam?
Yeah, of course. Like, so basically in the Leaving Cert, the day of I think it's the second maths paper, I just wasn't feeling well. Wasn't a good day for me, basically. Didn't do as well as I should have, or as I could have. So yeah, like fast forward to like when I got the results, obviously I got like a H5 in maths. I think for engineering in like most universities you need a H4. So I was like panicking because like basically as well I made the mistake of like I only put like 3 options down in my CEO.
Oh no
thing.
way!
So, yeah, big mistake. So don't do that. So I was like, I didn't get any of like the choices on my CAO because all of them needed like, you know, H4 maths. So then I was like, okay, cool, what can I do? Like I had heard of Maynooth and like kind of heard of the match entry exam, but like, you know, when you just don't kind of put too much attention to something.
Yeah, you hear of it, but you don't think, oh, I'll need to do it or anything like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So thankfully, like my dad was like, okay, like, you know what, let's just see. So we applied. I made my mate up from Cork to Maynooth. Like I think it was like the next week or something. Yeah, and even getting there was just horrible. It was just crazy. So I sat the exam. I was even like, I was kind of nervous, like just because you don't know what to expect. They just kind of tell you, yeah, just studying it. Like, but it was actually not bad at all. Like it was way easier than, you know, what I had done in secondary school for the actual exam. So I came out with like 90% in that. I was just like,
oh my god,
that was crazy. So like I had never gotten something like that in maths before ever. So yeah, it was good. It was like, and then thankfully like the secretary messaged me and was like, yeah, look, you've gotten in good result. I think I got like one of the best or something. So, yeah, so it was like definitely a second chance, and I definitely, like, I still to this day like appreciate the opportunity, because you know, without that I wouldn't be able to do engineering that year anyway. So yeah, it's really good that they offer that like kind of second chance, like second opportunity to get in. So yeah, definitely a good opportunity.
Yeah, it's good. It's very good, and it's good to know that that option is available to students as well, you know.
Yeah.
And I guess another kind of question I wanted to ask everyone. So obviously we're going through the CAO journey. I want to kind of know how you researched your kind of the college opportunities that were available to you. So maybe Beth, how did you kind of go about researching and deciding which universities to put on your CAO application?
Yeah, and as I said, I changed my mind so much. So I definitely only like moved from like one choice to another because I did my research. And I'd say you're probably going to touch on this later, but I would highly recommend open days. I probably started going when I was quite young because I had an older brother. But even if you don't have a sibling or someone to go with before your time, I would highly recommend starting in TY. I went to a lot. I went to summer schools as well. I went to the Maynooth summer school, and I also went to the UCD summer school, both for psychology, which really helped me settle on my choice. And prior to choosing psychology, I had kind of chosen Maynooth. I wanted to go to Maynooth specifically. I didn't really know what I wanted to do there, but I wanted to go to Maynooth. So after knowing I liked that university or that college, I went specifically to their website and just looked through all the courses and was like, what interests me? And actually psychology, I was just like, I don't know what that is. Let's click it. And then I was like, oh, this is really cool. And now I'm finished a degree in it. So I would recommend like getting a taste of the colleges so you actually know what you like. Because sometimes you just don't like connect with the place, and that's really okay and hard to explain.
Yeah, totally.
So you can like figure out where you like, and then you can research that institution specifically, because kind of like what Princess was saying, there's different options in different colleges. Like Maynooth has that second chance for maths, and different colleges have different entry routes, different requirements. So yeah, you can kind of figure out that way once you narrow down maybe a few places you'd like to look into.
And Alana, what about you? How did you go about researching your kind of different college options?
I suppose, as I said, like I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew in Maynooth I could mix and match the subjects for arts. So I suppose that was definitely something I looked into a lot in the prospectus. That was a great thing for me to be able to actually flick through all the pages and say, oh, I can mix this box of subjects with this box and have it straight in front of me. Also, I suppose the actual website, I was on that the whole time, having a look at all the subjects. So yeah, it was that. And then I suppose going to the open days and actually being able to speak to people about it who are doing it, like students that have done the course or the process of doing it, and being able to speak to lecturers, I suppose, was a great help as well.
Yeah, and I just actually want to address the time here because it's just coming to 12 o'clock. So if anyone wants to log off, that's no problem. We'll have a recording of the session. As well, just really utilising the Q&A question box, because we'll probably be going on for another about 10 minutes. So if anyone has any questions that they want to put in, feel free to ask the students now. And just on the open days, so if anyone wants to sign up to the open days, the next one is on Saturday, the 26th of June, and you can sign up on mu.ie/open days. So my next kind of question is, I want to know, okay, hands up, who's a commuter? And who lives in Maynooth, or who lived in Maynooth? That's perfect. So, Vinayak, you commuted from Rathout, did you?
I commute from Rathout, yeah.
And tell me, how did you kind of discover the routes that were available to you?
So yeah, it's a good question. Ironically, when I need to get to Maynooth, it's actually like about 20 minutes by car. It's really it's fast by car.
Oh, that's short, yeah.
Yeah. But if you need to go by bus, you have to get into town and then you need to get into Maynooth. That's kind of the general way.
Okay.
So when I was researching it online, I found out that there was a private bus hire that they have.
Oh, okay.
And they have a lot of these. It's not even just in Rathout, it's in loads of different counties as well. But the one that I kind of found out that it's just literally the last stop is at Ratoath, and then it just goes to Maynooth. So it was very handy for me. It runs twice in a day.
Okay, well, handy.
Yeah, handy, yeah. And it just operates from Monday to Friday. It only takes about 30 minutes for that bus duration. So it definitely is great for me because I don't actually drive and I don't have to actually take the general bus route. So I like it. It's pretty good.
That's great. That's good. That's good to know as well for students. And Beth, tell me, when you were, how did you go about finding accommodation?
Yeah, so in first year, I very much applied for on campus. Maynooth's handy in the sense that it's not a lottery. It is first come, first serve. So it's a bit like getting concert tickets, honestly. And so myself and a bunch of other students actually, like, we were able to like get out of class and go to the computer lab basically to all apply at the same time. And like first year applications are usually like May, and then there's another round in August when people get the results. So it's probably September this year because of the later date. And so first year I stayed on campus. It was very handy, and it's a good way to like kind of be there and like get into student life, I would say. There's ups and downs to it, you know, there's pros and cons to everything, because I did struggle a little bit with living with strangers, you know, you don't always guarantee to get along with everyone, but at the same time I had friends who made like really close friends through on campus. So a lot of people would do on campus and then maybe try and find private accommodation. It can be difficult, especially because sometimes a lot of private rental places do want you to do 12 months rather than like the academic year of 9 months. But I actually found digs using the student pad accommodation that Maynooth University runs, and they were fantastic, such good digs. They were such lovely people to stay with, and there was a few options that I actually chose between rather than being like, this is the only good one, you know. So I stayed dig for my second and half of my third year, and then I actually moved in with a friend and my partner in the second half of my third year into just a flat on Main Street of Maynooth. So it does help to know people, but you'll get to know people as well. And like I said, the digs on student pad were so helpful. And then unfortunately I did move home during the last year, but I lived in Maynooth for like 3 years. So I've kind of tried every option, private digs and on campus.
Yeah, very good. And just on that, so accommodation, I know will probably be with us on the open day, but you can also, there's a recording on the CAO Hub on accommodation options, and they go through student pad as well. And just on the transport, there's also, where we discussed earlier on, the publications part of the website, you could find the transport guide there, and that goes through every single route that's available, every county, every kind of way that you can get. Oh, Laura has it shining here. Woo, there it is. That's the one. And then I guess just in terms of open days, what is the best thing? Like, what did you find most helpful? Did you go to many open days, and what was the key takeaway from going to open days? So Alana, I might put that to you.
I suppose I went to, I'd say 3 or 4 open days. Like, I was really wanted to go to the open days. I suppose, as I said, actually being able to meet students and talk to lecturers was definitely one of the biggest things for me. I suppose as well, another thing was sort of getting familiar with campus, because I knew Maynooth was definitely where I wanted to go. Same as Beth, I knew that was where I wanted to go. I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do, but this is where I wanted to be. So I suppose being able to actually walk through the campus, go on campus tours was great, and just get a feel for the place and just get see the sort of atmosphere around and that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. And Princess, did you go to any open days? I know that it was kind of, it just happened with the maths engineering, but did you come to Maynooth on an open day?
No, I didn't actually. I kind of went to the website stuff. I put the open days they were there, but yeah, I went to the website. I heard my friend had come here as well, so I was talking to them about it as well. So yeah,
we both kind of came up together. And I guess that's the good thing about so many resources being available online now, is that there are a lot, obviously the open days are key for your college journey options available to you and getting to know the place where you're going to study. But there are a lot of options there that will also help you in the meantime before you get to go on that bus or you get to come up or anything, to kind of see what the place is like for you. And then I guess CAO forms. Did people change your CAO forms a lot? Or yeah, see Princess is like, yeah. Does anyone want to chat about their CAO form? Maybe Vinayak, do you want to go to describe maybe what it was like filling your CAO form? Did you change it much? What was it like for you?
Yeah, so I was basically dead set on doing engineering. So that's all I wanted to do. I literally just didn't choose any other course. But what was difficult for me was choosing where it was going to be. So at what university. I knew I wanted to do engineering, just at which university. So that's kind of where when I started going to the open days, that's where I was able to see the shift in the perspective. So when I went to Maynooth University open day, I noticed that basically, and this is a key point for me. So Maynooth University, they basically don't tend to focus on the theory side as much or the practical side as much. They kind of keep it 50-50. But other universities, they will do maybe 70% of the theory stuff and then 30% of the practical stuff.
So that was something that was important to you, and that
Yeah,
but
so
I guess you probably learned that by going to the open day as well, did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So when they, like, for example, the engineering department, they put on like beautiful presentations for the open day. And it's very important because if you were to go actually do work experience, or if you were to go into any sort of like project, like a real project, it's important that you have practical knowledge and it's not just all theory. So for me, I did actually change up my CAO after I went to the open day. And then I found out there's more practical, there's just an equal side of practical and theory stuff.
And that's important because for all courses, there's kind of that element that you really, you can have an idea of something, but then when you actually go and learn about the departments, like when you go to an open day, there's a presentation from a future lecturer there. So it gives you a taste of what is involved in college, and you're sitting in the lecture hall as well, where you might be in the next year. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to ask everyone one more question, and then I can see that somebody's raised their hand, so we might take a few questions if anyone has any. So my last question for everyone is, what kind of piece of advice would you go back, if you were going back to your Leaving Cert self, your TY fifth year Leaving Cert self, on that kind of researching college journey, what advice would you give? Princess, I guess I'll start with you.
Yeah, I was thinking there, I think the best advice I give myself is not worry. Like, just don't worry.
Not worry about it.
Like, even if like it's not going to be the end of the world, always good. Like, for example, like I just miraculously got into the math exam. Like, I was like really, really worrying and stressing out. And like, looking back now, that was just more calm and just take it step by step. And stay out there. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. I know like the jump from secondary school to like universities, like it is a big one, but at the same time, like just don't put too much pressure on yourself. As well as that, I'd probably just say, that's what I say. Yeah, I think that's actually what I would say. Just don't worry. Easy, yeah.
Your story is great, Princess, because it kind of shows that if you research and if you know the different opportunities that are available to get in, like there is an important kind of element there. There are different routes to take than the kind of classic journey that you'd expect. Like, for example, as well, QQI courses are a great kind of entry route as well. Alana, what about you?
I was the same as Princess. I tell myself not to worry, just sort of relax about it. Well, not relax about Leaving Cert, I suppose, but just like you've enough to be worried about. Like, college is not one of the things you have to worry about because it is going to be great. I suppose one of the things I was worried about was I didn't know anyone on my course, and I was sort of like, oh god, like what do I do? But everyone's really friendly. I suppose everyone is the same boat and everybody's thinking the same thing, and people don't want to let on that whole like, how am I going to meet people? They don't want to let on that too, but everyone's thinking the same thing. Everyone's in the same boat. So I suppose just sort of stop stressing about the small things.
Yeah, that's great advice. Vinayak, what about you? What advice would you give yourself?
So for my first year of engineering, I don't know why, I just didn't actually, I was so focused on college work, and I didn't like, I never actually joined any, well, I did. I kind of joined clubs and societies, and I kind of went into the social stuff, kind of, but I didn't really experience it that much. And I was so serious on like college work and just kind of getting my assignments done and work stuff. So I would just basically tell myself just enjoy, because it's just 4 years. So enjoy the time you have. It's not all work. It's kind of, you know, there's a little bit of fun in there. So use your time wisely. But yeah, that's basically it. I would just tell myself.
Yeah, that's great. That is great. And I guess that balance as well, and the kind of the way to meet new people, and these are kind of going to be your friends for life as well. And there's so many more people in university that you're going to meet, and you have the opportunity of becoming friends with. And yeah, just great. And like the talks earlier on, all the kind of experiences stuff from societies and stuff like that's invaluable as well. Beth, what about you?
I think similar to what you're saying, I would definitely say like be really open to meeting new people. Obviously you'll meet people through your course. That's where I've made some of my closest friends. But similarly, I was involved in Disney Society, Game Society. I kind of met my partner through Game Society. So
oh, lovely.
Yeah, there's so much scope to meet really different and interesting people. Also, you have more scope to like kind of tailor who you're meeting, who loves
and like-minded people.
Yeah. Yeah. And as well as that, I would just say be confident in your abilities, because you got to university for a reason, and you wouldn't have got there if you weren't capable. So yeah, be confident in what you're able to do, and the sort of amazing stuff you're going to be able to do.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, and our lovely students for joining us today. If you have any questions for our students, you can find a lot of them on mu.ie/as-a-student, or a lot of our students do takeovers as well. So if you follow us on socials, you'll be able to ask them any kind of questions again in the future. But I guess, Laura, do you want to take, I know there might be some questions there, or somebody with their hand, if you want to take the question, and we can stay on for a few more minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.